Good afternoon, members of the committee, Senator McKinney. Senator Sorrentino, I'm actually a constituent of your district in the Elkhorn area. My name is Nick Kniskey, N-I-C-K-K-N-I-S-K-Y, and I'm here representing my design build company called Platt and Pine Construction and Remodel. I'm based out of Omaha. We specialize in accessory dwelling unit ADU development. I started this business after seeing a growing need among Nebraska families for flexible, practical housing solutions that allow families to remain close to one another without sacrificing independence or dignity. The families I work with are not seeking widespread density or dramatic neighborhood change, such as an RV in their front yard. Instead, most are simply trying to solve a very human problem: how to care for aging parents, how to help adult children return home temporarily, or how to allow loved ones to live nearby without moving into costly retirement facilities or leaving the community altogether. For many seniors, aging in place is not a preference or even a luxury, but rather a necessity. Traditional retirement housing, as many of you know, is expensive, it's isolating, and far removed from family support systems. ADUs, on the other hand, offer a quieter, more personal alternative. They allow seniors to remain independent while staying connected to family, neighbors, and local services. This is especially important in a state like ours, where we value family, self-reliance, and community ties. But unfortunately, for many communities around our state, these solutions are far more difficult to pursue than what I believe they should be. Today, only a small number of Nebraska communities clearly allow ADUs. And even where they are technically permitted, the rules vary significantly and often carry burdensome red tape. From city to city, homeowners face different zoning standards, parking requirements, design mandates, approval timelines, and discretionary review processes. As a builder, I routinely see projects delayed or even abandoned, not because homeowners lack interest or the financial capacity, but instead because the regulatory process is unpredictable, time-consuming, and costly. The existing patchwork creates uncertainty for families and discourages investment before it even begins. LB 1041 addresses this issue in a practical and balanced way, positioning Nebraska at the forefront of ADU development in the Midwest. This bill does not, in my opinion, eliminate local control, and it does not force high-density development into Nebraska neighborhoods. Instead, it establishes a clear statewide baseline so homeowners and local governments understand the rules from the beginning. It ensures that ADUs are treated reasonably and consistently rather than being subject to additional restrictions that do not apply to your standard single-family home. LB 1041 removes the most common barriers while still requiring compliance with building codes and safety standards. This bill simply prevents unnecessary red tape that stops good projects before they even begin. From an economic perspective, this bill also makes sense. ADUs help homeowners build equity, expand housing options without new subdivisions, and modestly increases local property tax bases. They allow retirees to remain in Nebraska longer, close to family, instead of relocating out of state. And they do so without requiring new infrastructure, new roads, or major public investment, all of which we've talked about in previous bill hearings today. Perhaps most importantly, LB 1041 reflects Nebraska values. It supports families caring for another. It respects property rights while maintaining neighborhood character, and it provides a straightforward, predictable framework that benefits homeowners, local governments, and communities alike. As Senator Roundtree mentioned, Iowa adopted a nearly identical law last year, and I believe Nebraska now has an opportunity to lead the Midwest by embracing a proven family-centered approach to housing policy. For these reasons, I respectfully urge the committee to advance LB 1041. I thank you for your time, and I'd be happy to answer any questions, including anything regarding building code and the applicability of what is permissible for an ADU.
Thank you. Any questions from the committee? Senator Klaus and then Senator Anderson.
Thank you. You said you've done some of these already. What type of situations were they in? And have you encountered anything that's counter to a homeowners association?
I'll start with the homeowners association first. So I live in a homeowners association. I'm on the board of my homeowners association. I'm an Indian Point Senator Sorrentino. Covenants regarding homeowners association carry with the property. They supersede anything related to city code. So if there is a homeowners association that prevents or prohibits ADU development, and I'm an attorney as well for the background, that would supersede the municipal code that applies.
Okay. And then, so some of you built, what type of areas were they in?
Yeah, so when I initially started this company, my assumption was that they were going to be primarily on the suburban parts of town, right, where people have larger lots. Instead, what I found is just the opposite. People are looking to do these in the denser part of town. That is because, I believe, you start seeing an older population around that area. Now, the typical unit that we are building is between 500 and 950 square feet. You start getting above that, it doesn't make sense to be able to put that on the lot. We still are beholden to setback rules, things like that.
Thank you. Senator Anderson?
Thank you. How does it work with the utility hookups? Are there any challenges with that?
We pull them from the house. So by definition, an accessory dwelling unit is accessory to the primary structure. So we have to pull them from the line to the house, meaning we trench out across the backyard, coming off the main water line where it plugs into the house.
So as a lawyer, which I'm not, if we have state law that says that you can do an ADU, but you have an HOA that says no, you can't, what repercussion does an HOA have to enforce it?
I'm not going to give this as legal advice, but again, when it comes,
Personal opinion.
yeah, when it comes to an HOA, the covenants carry with the land, right? And so any covenants, whether it's I need my house to be a certain color, I need my shingles to be a certain color, I still have to follow those covenants as a resident within that HOA. I can't sit there and fight those just because the city doesn't, carry the same burdens. Same thing would exist for an ADU, right? If my HOA prevents an ADU, which we're going through a similar process with a homeowner right now, I'm beholden to what the HOA covenants govern.
Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Clinton?
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. So like on some of these smaller lots, is there a set, we had, if I put on like a utility shed, it's got to be set so far back from the house, and then, of course, then you got your easement back there. So do you find that difficult in some situations to maybe add that in, or?
We know going in what the setbacks are. They're typically 5 feet from the side, 8 feet from the back. We know it needs to be behind the front plane of the house. So for the most part, knowing those things going in, we're able to do, even on an initial site visit, say, hey, generally speaking, this is the area that we have to work with. From there, that really governs how big it can be as well. I would hate to put something all the way going into, the very end of a lot, because I know homeowners, the neighbors aren't going to love that. So think of this really as like a utility, or a secondary garage that you see so commonly over the last 60, 70 years. Very similar idea. So we're beholden to those same setbacks.
And then with that, can it be an add-on to the house then too? Connected right to the house?
Yeah, think of that really like an addition. When it's added onto the house, all we're doing is creating a separate entry into the home. That is where it becomes the accessory dwelling unit in lieu of an addition.
Okay, thank you.
Senator Klaus?
Thank you, Senator McKinney. Another question, and some of the stuff started to come back to me now because I've been shifting a whole different mindset. But one of the things we talked about is if somebody has a garage and they want to convert it, because that's, might be a detached garage, we're going to convert it to an ADU. Well, a lot of times they're on slab, there's no foundation, no footings, and so you have safety issues that could prevent that. And you never know where that's going to happen. And being from a college town, yeah, it's okay if grandma's going to stay there, but what if it's my junior in college, and cars and parking and street park, all that stuff, those do become issues.
Yep.
And have you encountered all those types of things?
I have not encountered any situations with the parking concerns. We're not putting in a multi-unit accessory dwelling, right? There'd be at most one additional car going on that street. It's not like you're adding high density
So
development.
most of yours are a new building where you put in the footings and build it to code.
That's right. Now, to answer your question regarding a garage conversion, there we are still beholden to code. So code requires us to build a foundation below frost. So anytime, we've had plenty of consultations where people want to convert their garage. My very first check when I'm out there is what the foundation looks like. If it's sitting on a 4-inch slab, we got to tear up that 4-inch slab and dig down and put in a real foundation.
Okay, thank you.
And I suppose that would be similar to Senator Anderson's previous questions to Senator Roundtree, where he was asking regarding a mobile home, can you just plot that down in the yard? The answer is no. It still needs to be on a two-code foundation.
Thank you. Senator Anderson?
Which is kind of concerning in and of itself, right? I mean, it's one thing to put something down temporarily, but if you put a whole pad out there where you're pouring a foundation on, so that's not temporary, that's a permanent structure.
Right, and that's really where the distinction would be between just saying, hey, a mobile home is going to act as an accessory dwelling unit versus actually building an accessory dwelling unit. If you're going to plop down a mobile home, it still needs to be on a foundation, just like you would see with a lack of a better term, a trailer park.
Yeah, and speaking of the parking, it does say in here, require that the lot containing a single-family residence. It tells that you have to have additional parking beyond that required for a single-family residence, or require a fee to be paid in lieu of providing some additional parking. I don't know if you have commentary on that, or I can ask Senator Brown.
I don't have specific commentary on that.
Okay,
I think
awesome.
the only places that we've run into the parking regulation have been down on Lincoln. Lincoln requires additional parking.
Thank you.
Thanks. Senator Sorrentino?
Thank you, Chairman McKinney. Welcome to one of my constituents. Thank you for being here. Real quick question. It doesn't sound like it's relative to this, but I think it is. When you build these structures as ADUs, is there special financing that goes with those, or can they be blended into the mortgage on the main structure?
Great question. So it'd be like any other remodel where we see people financing them. There are, obviously if a traditional HELOC it can be leveraged for something like this, but oftentimes you're adding a second mortgage onto the home if you're seeking to finance one.
Thank you.
Thanks. Senator Quick?
One other question, maybe this has been talked about, but so do they, I suppose depending on who's going to be living there, you build them so like if you need a rail by the toilet, or if you have to have a shower that they can, if they're in a wheelchair, they could get into, is it just specific to each individual that's going to be living there, or is it?
Yep, specific to each individual. I would actually encourage you guys to visit one that we are in the process of building right now that is full. I'm not going to say it's ADA compliant because that's not necessarily what we're worried about there in terms of public regulation regarding ADA compliance, but it is ADA aligned where we are eliminating all thresholds in the home. It's a wheel-in shower where there's no curb tied to that shower. We have a wheel under vanity. We've got cabinetry that includes all of the optionality, wider doorways, things like that. So that is commonly what we'll hear for aging in place, is that we want something close to ADA ready.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Senator Klaus?
Just one other quick question. Thank you, Sir McKinney. We've had in this committee for a couple weeks ago, we talked about the building codes. And have you encountered anything different from the different communities they're in? Because some of them adopt the federal code, building electrical, and some don't. What's your thoughts on it? Have you had any experience with that?
I'm generally going to follow the 2018 IRC. That's what I'm mandated to follow for my license in Omaha. I will typically build above and beyond that for energy efficiency and insulation purposes, but for the most part, we're building to code.
Thank you.
Thank you. Other questions? Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.